right. Hey, everybody. Joe Misfit Glenn here. We're going to wait for some folks to come in. Give me a second. Let me see who's here. All right. Facebook user. I'll bet you that's David. We got 5 people watching. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce everybody. Welcome, Leanne and Doug, to our show. They are with Hygrozyme out of Canada, right? And they specialize in amendments and supplements, right? Mm-hmm. And so today we're going to be talking about amendments and supplements. All right, but first we're going to say hey to some folks. All right, we got a lot of Facebook users. What's up, Cade? Nice to see you. Who else is in here? Let me say hi to you. Hey, peanut butter. What's up? All right, good to hear, Cade. Good to hear. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and introduce our folks. Doug and Leanne, I'm not sure which one wants to get after it, but introduce yourself, please. Tell us a little bit about you guys yourself.
Go ahead, Leanne.
Okay. Hi, I'm Leanne. I'm the sales and operations coordinator for Hygrozyme. Been with the company just about 3 years now. My experience comes from the commercial growing side of things. So I worked with a licensed producer here in Canada for about 3 years, starting just before legalization, all through that super fun process of legalization, right up until probably just before COVID, about a week before COVID shut everything down here in BC. So started out there as an operations coordinator, learning everything from growing, trimming, pruning, as well as some of the operations side as well. And then transitioned over to Hygrozyme after that point and been with them ever since. Nice.
And Doug, you being like all smart and stuff, tell us about your education, my man.
So I'm Doug. I'm the director R&D at Hygrozyme, and so I've been with the company, similar amount of time as Leanne, close to a little bit under 3 years. And I have a PhD in chemistry. That's my background. I started my career in the pharmaceutical industry, and then about 10 years ago, I migrated into the ag space. And then, working in a lot of other different crops. And then the last 3 years or so, been with Hygrozyme, obviously getting into a very specific and very unique crop, cannabis.
Yeah, nice. What's up, Rick? Nice to see you. And so, okay, I don't even know which one to start with, but let me hear about Hygrozyme. I want to hear about, what the company and what's your mission. What is your goal?
Yeah, I can field that one. So Hygrozyme is a family-owned company. It was founded in 1974. And originally they started out making chemical-based products for hospitals, industrial cleaning, that kind of thing. And when our current CEO, Sheila, took over, she was really interested in the environment and saw the movement towards, green products and taking care of the environment, and that shift in consumer trends and media trends and all of that. So it was her idea to create a product like Hygrozyme and create that brand. So I would say our core values are innovation and, being a leader in the industry, as well as taking care of the environment and leaving the world and the environment better than we found it, really.
Right. That's a beautiful way to look at it. I appreciate that for sure. So let's talk a little bit about the products you guys have. Mm-hmm. Now, amendments, and let's talk about nutrients and amendments. What is the difference between your products and what we can buy every day out here? Okay, I can go buy some stuff right here, right? This is Grow More, and it has, nitrogen, potassium, and the phosphates in it. Now, what would you call this particular product?
So I can jump in a little bit there. So so basically in any crop, you're gonna have 3 different main category of products. You got to have your nutrients, and you got to have you additive, or a technical term is called biostimulants, and you got to have your crop protection products. So
Okay.
our current products falls most mainly in a biostimulant or additive category. So what they
Okay.
actually do is they itself then themselves are not nutrients, but what they do is they actually help to improve the efficiency of the nutrients, like the NPKs. So most of the nutrient that you apply, they don't get all absorbed by the plants. It's actually most of them are wasted, and so these products help the plants to absorb these nutrients better, more, so that you get a better, healthier plant.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. And so it's not just your normal feed, right, for your plant that you would give it. This is actually helping all these store-bought feeds get delivered to your plant. So they must work hand in hand with the mycorrhiza, or all the living organisms in your soil, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and our product, let's say our flagship product, Hygrozyme, is compatible with pretty much every single nutrient program out there. And so generally, people mix it with the nutrient, as per our feeding schedule in our websites or our technical, data sheets and things like that.
Okay. And so let's just go ahead and talk about the first product you want to talk about. Is this the main one, the Hygrozyme? Is it a foliar
I mean, that's
spray?
one of our main product. That's probably our most well-known product. And I'll let Leanne jump in a little bit and talk a little bit more about that. And I can jump into a little bit more after as well.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, so like Doug said, Hygrozyme is our original product. I believe it's been on the market between 12 and 15 years now, so quite a staple in the industry. And what it is, it's an enzyme-based additive, and it helps to prevent root rot by breaking down the dead root matter in your plants. So it uses an enzyme called cellulase that directly works with cellulose, which is basically the dead root matter, what it's made up of.
Yeah.
So the cellulase goes into that dead root matter, it breaks it down and turns it into simple sugars and essential nutrients that your plant can then uptake. And not only does that prevent root rot and kind of stop that issue from happening, but it will also increase your plant yield as well, which is obviously very important when we're talking about cannabis, but also when you're talking about vegetables or any other crop that you might have in your garden. I mean, if you have flowers, you'll get some more flowers. If you have fruits or vegetables, you'll get some more fruits and vegetables like tomatoes. So just in general, it will help to increase your yield as well as just the overall plant quality, and then also protect you from root rot.
All right. Well, this kind of brought up a question for me, and one of our we had a comment on it too. I just need to go back a little bit. We were talking about how your guys' stuff helps the plant absorb the nutrients more efficiently, or makes the nutrients more efficient. Is there anything that you can say to keep it on my level that I can understand how that happens? How is it? I know that you have how it breaks down the root matter and it turns it into sugars, and that for it goes into energy for the plant. But how does this chemical or your guys' product make everything work better? Is there an explanation for that? That's easy.
Yeah, I mean, like as Leanne said, if the roots as they grow, they have what's called root hairs, and root hair basically sheds constantly.
Right.
So if you don't get those, if you don't get those out of the root zone is going to be like it's really difficult. It's going to be difficult for the nutrient to get in there and get absorbed by a plant. So what the enzyme does in the product Hygrozyme is that they cleave and remove all those, so then the nutrient can get in there. Because if your roots are all occupied by these, say, debris or root hair, it's not going to get absorbed that well by the nutrient that you feed into it, right? And so, and also if you're having those dead root matter there, it also encourages pathogen formation like root rot, as Leanne mentioned. So it has kind of a multiple mode of actions in essence.
I get you. Cool. Okay, so Hygrozyme sounds pretty slick. It really does. What other kind of stuff? What other products do you guys have? Are they all they kind of help Hygrozyme do its business, or do they have a whole nother function?
They have some other functions. So we have another product called High Shield. And so
High
what
Shield.
High Shield is also, by the way, all our product are natural. So we don't deal with any synthetic stuff. So High Shield is actually composed of basically, crustacean shells. They have a polymer,
Okay.
so called chitosan. So it's chitosan is natural. So what that does is actually chitosan. You can think of it. The product High Shield contains the ingredient chitosan. You can think of it as a plant immunity. So what it does is when you spray it or when you drench it in a plant, it actually helps to activate the plant's defense system. So then the plant is more on alert for any potential pest or disease.
Sure. And it starts developing its own little shield, much like.
So if you want to break that one down a little bit and make it a little bit simpler.
Oh,
sorry, I think something glitched there.
Go ahead, Leanne.
I was just going to say, like, to make High Shield a little bit simpler, like what I like to say is it's a little bit touchy these days, but it's very similar to how a vaccine works. You're giving that plant like a micro boost of stress so that when stress does come or something happens in your environment that goes wrong, like your temperature shoot up or your humidity shoots up or something like that, the plant knows what that stress feels like and knows how to react. So it's kind of like priming that immune system. And the other way to look at it is like an insurance policy, basically. I mean, a lot of people put a lot of money into not just their cannabis plants, but their gardens in general. Sure. I know I only have 3 like small balcony boxes out on my balcony, and it cost me a pretty penny to plant those out. Oh, yeah. So by adding something like High Shield, you're just giving yourself that sense of security that, I mean, if you forget to water it for a week or something like that happens, it's not going to be as bad if you had High Shield in there versus not having it.
Okay. All right. So it's just, well, like you said, an immune boost, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got Hygrozyme and High Shield. Let's hear that next one.
We have another product called High Clean. And so, yeah, so what that does is it's essentially it helps to, in any growing system, because fertilizer used constantly. Cannabis is one of those plants that just feeds on a lot of fertilizer. So most fertilizer are, salts and mineral. So those gets built up in the system quite a bit, right? So that's going to affect also your grow and whatnot. So what High Clean does is actually helps to kind of remove those build up of salts and mineral in your system, and you can use it in really two ways. One is what we call like during the grow. So you can add it with your nutrients while you grow. So that kind of helps to maintain your system clean. While the other use is that, let's say your system over time you haven't cleaned it for a while, it's super dirty. So in between grow, then you can jack up the concentration of that product and give it a nice clean as well too. And people use our product to clean other equipments as well too, like the trays, the shears, and things like that. And Leanne can probably comment a little bit more on that because she deals with obviously the end user a lot more than I am. Okay.
Yeah, the nice thing about High Clean is that a lot of the other line cleaners on the market, as some people that are watching might know, a lot of them contain either hypochlorous acid or bleach or things like isopropyl alcohol is really common in cleaning lines as well. And all of those, they're very harsh chemicals. Some of them require respirators if you're using them in high concentrations. You don't necessarily want to get those on your skin. And a lot of them as well aren't compatible with your microbes and your mycorrhizas and living microbes and beneficials that you might be adding to your plants. And that's the really great thing about High Clean and why I personally love this product so much. It's actually one of my favorites of ours. Is that you can add it, like Doug said, throughout your entire grow, and it's not going to harm anything. And it's going to keep your lines nice and clean, keep your media nice and clean, and overall just give you a really nice, clean, finished product.
Yeah, and the best thing about what Leanne said too, right? It doesn't affect any of your beneficial product. A lot of people nowadays use beneficial microbes in their grow, right?
Absolutely, and that was going to be my caveat to that. Or I was going to tell you there are a lot of these that destroy all living things in your soil, and you have to reamend. Now, so I was going to ask you if I had to reamend anything with my mycorrhiza or anything like that, but you guys already answered it, so good on you for that.
Yeah, we done scientific testing to show that when you mix, say, the microbes and the High Clean, the microbe is still alive.
Cool. That's good. That's good to know, because I mean, why would you want to spend extra money just to get something done? I get it. That's really good. I like that, guys. Awesome.
And the other thing too is, like, with your lines, if you are using something that has really heavy acids, you kind of have to wait until between cycles, so you're not running it with your plants.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of the time with irrigation lines, if you wait through a whole cycle,
maybe too late,
3 months, and you're using heavy salts, you're going to have like pretty dirty lines, pretty clogged lines, and then any of that residue is being pushed into your plants to a certain extent as well, right? So by using something like High Clean that you can use throughout the entire grow, you're perpetually keeping those lines clean. So nothing is being flushed inadvertently into your plants except for what you want to be flushed in there, which is your nutrients and your beneficials.
Right. And like a lot of this sounds like it's more commercials type stuff with irrigation and all that stuff. Now, for the small time grower like myself, maybe I have up to 15, 20 plants where other people may have 2 or 3. Do you guys have sizes that would be more along our lines, as far as we don't need gallons, we just need a little bit?
Yep. Yeah. I think we have. I don't remember exact small size, but we do have small size for sure. And another thing,
our smallest size is 500 ml, 500 milliliters.
500 milliliters. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another thing I want to point out about High Clean is that there are a lot of people. There's 2 camps in this in terms of the flush, right? At the end, some people flush it with water, right? Some people flush it with an agent. So I can tell you that we had a grower that he is one of those that definitely believes in flushing with an agent. He wants the last 2 week or so want to get rid of all the excess nutrient so that plants can be nice and clean, the flower, that is. And so if he was going to do that with just water, he would use just buckets of water. And so when he try our product, High Clean, he basically like reduces water load by probably using like a 1/10 of that, right? So if you really want to flush all the nutrient at the end, you have a solution, High Clean, and then you can flush out. And of course, you can do that just by measuring the EC. You can say, you flush with water, flush with High Clean, and you can tell the difference. That basically when you flush it with the High Clean, all the nutrient will come out.
I got you. Okay. And so we're already getting some questions on it. And so I'll let you guys explain to us about shelf life and how long, if it comes in a concentrated form and you mix it.
Yeah.
Anyway, how long can you save the leftovers? How long does it last?
All the product can last pretty long. Like I would say, weeks and weeks, right? The only one that Leanne mentioned that doesn't is our microbial product called Hygrozyme, because of the live microbial. And so what I do recommend is that once you mix it, like the ready-to-use solution, if you're not going to use it for a little while, a couple of days, a week or 2 weeks, when you go use it, just give it a little shake and then off you go.
Right. Okay, cool. And I think I remember you guys saying like the actual shelf life would be like up to 2 years.
The actual product, all our product, is 2 years. Yes.
Okay. Well, good. And so let's go ahead and get after that 4th one. And then you guys have a brand new product, right? So there is a 5th. All right, so
No,
let's get
that's
out.
the fourth.
Oh, that's the fourth. So let's hear it. Let's
Well,
hear it.
I'll let Leanne introduce the new one. So the fourth one is actually we have two versions of Hygrozyme. We have a Hygrozyme regular, and we have a Hygrozyme concentrate. So
okay.
Hygrozyme concentrate really I would say is for people that have maybe a larger growing space, because essentially it's identical product, but except it's 5 times more concentrated.
Okay,
That's the only
I feel
difference.
that.
Yeah,
Understand. Nice. So Leanne, what do you got for me?
So I'll get into Hygroben in just one sec. I did want to address something you said a few minutes ago, though.
Okay.
So you were saying that with HyClean, like it sounds like a product that's for commercial, because we're talking about irrigation lines and things like that home growers might not necessarily have. And what I'd say to that is HyClean works for all levels of growers. If you have auto pot system, a lot of my home growers are using an auto pot system. It works great in there. Blue mat, it works great in there as well. If you're running hydroponic or DWC in those like Home Depot buckets, it works really well in there to keep your water clean. And what some of my growers do as well is like the clothing steamers that you can get for like your clothes.
Yeah.
People will put a little bit of HyClean in there with their water and then actually steam their tents to remove resin from the walls and floors of their tents. So it really doesn't matter what size of growers you are. Our products work for everyone.
Okay. All right. Well, good deal. Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah, no worries. Now, in terms of the technically fifth product, I guess, so we just launched on June 1st in the US, our newest product, Hygroben, which is a beneficial microbe. It has 5 species of Bacillus bacteria, which I will leave Doug to pronounce since he's our scientist PhD extraordinaire. But basically what the product does is it promotes plant yield, terpene and cannabinoid content by making some of the elements bioavailable to the plants that might not be already. So similarly to what we were talking about with Hygrozyme and how it increases nutrient uptake, Hygroben kind of does the same thing, but it does it for, and correct me if I'm wrong, Doug, but it does it for phosphates, iron,
nitrogen,
and nitrogen. There we go. So again, just making your nutrients even more strong and even more bioavailable to the plant. And it also works really, really well with Hygrozyme because the enzymes in Hygrozyme feed beneficial microbes, and that's what's present in Hygroben. So as a team, they work really, really well together. And in terms of data and numbers, we've done some research on it that shows that you can increase your yield up to 30%. Increase your THC cannabinoids up to about 20%, and increase your terpene level about 20% as well.
And this is research is conducted totally by a third party independent contractor. So then we basically contracted out to a grower, and they test it and obviously give us the result and so forth.
Okay, now, I have a question for you guys now. We've talked about these products, and you were talking about the cleanse, right? And the flushing. I am very particular about the whole flushing idea. I have my own idea, but I'm of the mind that you can never flush what you put into that plant. Your leaf cells will hold it forever. You will smoke that when you smoke your product. So the question is, if I can taste the nutrient, if there's too much nutrient in my flower, and when I have my medicine, I can taste it, and I have this black ash on the top, and it's not white and like it should be. It's not pure. What can I expect if using this? Would there be that black stuff just like these nutrients, or are we going to have a purity here? Is my ash going to be completely white?
I mean, right now, are you flushing it just with water?
I don't use very many nutrients just for this purpose, and I have great outcomes.
So this is one of the things I truly believe. For people that use nutrients, so what happened is even though you're not feeding a nutrient for the last 2 weeks or so, right? People just
Wow.
usually let it stop and let it grow. But there are still nutrients in the media, whatever grow media you're in. And so the plant is still going to take it. So this product what it does is can basically just remove all that nutrient out of the media, and you're going to get a nice clean. So there's not going to absorb any additional one that's sitting in there, even though you're not technically feeding it because it's still in the grow media.
And so you're basically relying on the last 2 weeks or so of that plant eating the nutrients out of those individual leaves as they start to fluff off. I get it. Okay, I understand your process.
Yeah, because if you don't feed in a 2 week, you're not adding any extra feed, but the media still has nutrients, and the plant is hungry, so they got to eat something, right?
Right.
And I would always recommend, like, if you're using High Clean to flush, say you stop all your nutrients 2 weeks before you plan to harvest.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would do like a High Clean flush, maybe a couple times during the first week of that flush period. And then that second week, I would go in with just water.
Just water,
I'm the same as you. Like, I like a very white ash, very pure product. Yes. I'm fairly sensitive if I can taste those nutrients as well.
Yeah.
And I'm a medical user myself, so I am very sympathetic to that cause. But I would say, do a week of High Clean just to flush out all those excess nutrients from your media, and then still go through and flush with water just to make sure that you're getting everything out. But I have a craft grower here in British Columbia up north, and he's using all 3 of our products, and he has won numerous awards with his product. And he uses High Clean for a flush, and that's what he does is he uses all of our products all the way through along with some others, and then he does a flush with High Clean for a week and then a flush with water. And I mean, he is getting some absolutely phenomenal results with it, and I've personally tried his product and it has absolutely white ash.
Nice. Awesome. And so one thing I don't know that we mentioned, I know that we have the flush, okay, where we would pour it all into the soil. We have foliar sprays, and how can we use this? We can use it many ways or just one way?
Yeah, so Hygrozyme and High Clean and HygroBen, you're going to be adding either directly to your tank, or if you have like a reservoir, or if you're hand watering, just add it to whatever you're watering out of, like a watering bucket, or High Clean you can use as a foliar spray. A lot of people in my experience don't like doing foliar during the flower phase. So when you're in veg, foliar spray it. Doug can speak a little bit more to this, but there's a pretty cool effect that gets added almost imperceptibly when you foliar spray High Shield. And basically it creates this like very thin, almost invisible film over your plant. That acts as added protection for pathogens and things like that might be trying to get at your leaves. So you can foliar spray for that. And then once you reach the flower stage, if you stop spraying at that point, then you can add it as a drench like all the other products.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. All right. And so did you have anything to add to that, Doug, as far as what she was talking about?
No, I think Leanne is correct. In terms of the High Shield, we generally people generally spray it from the veg all the way to the beginning of flower. Even though I think it's safe to spray flower, most people don't, right?
Yeah.
And so then most people, once they get to flower, they switch to a drench. But what's cool about the High Shield is that because the compound Hygrozyme is actually a polymer, right? So it's a natural polymer. And it kind of forms this little invisible film kind of on the leaf surface. It's not like impermeable. It's the leaf can still breathe and whatnot. But what that essentially does is kind of alter the surface of the leaf a little bit. So if you have any potential fungal or potential insect, they're going to have a harder time adhere to the leaf. So it acts as almost like as a physical barrier for that.
Gotcha.
Well,
nice. Okay. And so there was a couple of things that some questions that have been asked to me that I'm going to try to relate to you as best I can. Okay. And so, and I'm remembering all the stuff we've talked about. We talked about this, that your products work with other nutrients. And so there's not going to be any contraindications there. There's not going to be any problems, right? With you adding Hygrozyme with, I don't know, whatever fish
nutrient,
yeah. You know, you can do this kind of stuff and it's not going to bother.
No.
Okay. And the soils, is there a difference in soils like cocoa or just regular? Is any kind of a problem that you've run into with that?
No problem. I would say, like, specifically, I know that Hygrozyme is really popular with hydroponic and DWC because you're growing in water.
Right.
So obviously root rot is a lot more common in those medias because it's just water. But you can use all of the products in all grow medias. So cocoa, rock wool, water, so on and so forth.
Now, you guys were talking about all your testing and stuff. Was this all in hydroponics, or was there a test done in soil? And if so, what kind of soil was it? Do you remember?
I mean, they have done it in terms of soil. You mean like a mixture, like in terms of
was it
sand?
living soil?
Hygroben testing.
Yeah, was it bag soil? Was it, a bag soil with an amendment of some, manure?
Yeah, it's kind of bag soil. Like, for example, it might be like, say, a perlite with a mix or some other media in there and things like that. Definitely cocoa, definitely rock wool, as Leanne mentioned as well too, and obviously popular with a lot of the hydroponic because the fact that in those systems, root rot is more common, and so most of our product are amenable to pretty much all grow media that we have that we usually test in a lot of the grow media, and obviously common ones are up, like a lot of people uses cocoa. Seems to be a very popular, and rock wool as well too, and so.
Gotcha. And well, shoot, I'm gonna ask everybody if they got any questions, because you guys answered my questions quick. I ain't got no more. Hold on. Come on, guys, give me some questions for these nice folks. Let's see what we got. Is there anything else that you guys are thinking about that I haven't asked?
I think we ran through a lot of information in like a fairly small period of time, which is amazing. Yeah. The one thing I'd say is that if you're interested in our products, if you have any questions, definitely reach out to us. There's a contact form on our website that will normally comes directly to myself. So you're not emailing a robot, you're emailing me. Also, if you guys are on Instagram, feel free to message us on Instagram. That's, again, either me or our marketing tech, Itsuri. So basically, whenever you reach out to us, you're always going to be talking directly to a person from our company. Yeah. We're all very available to answer questions and help out. And we also do trade shows throughout the year. Our next one is in California, Long Beach, in August. So if anyone's out in that area and wants to come say hi, definitely come say hello. Let me know where you found us. I'd love to meet you guys. So,
you guys have any shipping problems to the U.S. or anywhere else?
No, not really. The only thing is High Shield can't go to California. Other than that, that's about it. Yeah.
Okay, so no California for the new product, High Shield, right?
No, High Shield. So the newest product is Hygroben. That one, it will be available in California. It's not right now. Yeah. Hygroben is currently not available in Michigan or California, but it will be very soon. High Shield, the immunity booster, is the only one that has any restrictions.
Okay.
But all those are available in Oklahoma.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, we'll check them out. Now, they will be available eventually? You guys working to have those available for the California folks?
For sure. Yes. Yeah.
Good deal. Let me see what other questions we may have. There was something I was going to ask you, but lo and behold, my brain just dumped it. No shipping problems. We're good. Let me see if we missed anything up here.
I see one on there. How long on shelf after you mix? So I think Doug covered that one, but I don't know if we mentioned Hygroben or not when we talked about that. So Hygroben, the new product, the beneficial, you'll want to use that one within 48 hours of mixing. and then you'll want to use up the product within 4 months of opening the bottle because of those live microbes. But that's the only one that we really have any time on mixing.
Nice. I'm actually really interested in those, the live ones. That sounds really good. You know, I'm starting to do my studying in the soils. Through my cannabis experience, I started just learning how to grow, learning the plant anatomy, learning what the plant how it talks to you. Now I got into breeding, and so I'm into breeding, but next is soil, and so I'm going to start learning about all the different ins and outs of soil, which is a lot to know. So, but they're saying that you guys have a very nice website.
Well,
people are looking at it.
Thank you.
And I did put a ticker up, guys. Now go check out that website. It's pretty slick, man. And so one question I do need to bring out for you guys. We discussed all these cool products, but can you give us a price range in which we're going to be needing to look at for purchase?
Off the top of my head, I have to look into that a little bit. So basically, like, pricing will vary slightly depending on your retail store and your location. So there is always that. I believe most of the 500 milliliters, I believe, should be around the $30 to $50 range. We are on the higher end of amendments that are out there, but what I'll say about that is, like, we're an ISO 9001 certified facility, which means every single bottle of our product that you get is going to have the exact same quality. It's all been tested, so we take our quality very, very seriously. As well as, when you're shopping for products, make sure you're looking at two things. One is the ingredients list. If it says that it's doing something, make sure the ingredients that do the thing are on the label. Like I said about Hygrozyme, like, cellulase is the enzyme that breaks down dead root matter. So if you're picking up an enzyme product that says it's going to prevent root rot, make sure you're looking for that ingredient. Ours are listed directly on our label, as well as the activity levels for those ingredients, which is something else to look for. And the other thing is look at the dosage and dilution. So you might be looking at two products, and one might be significantly more expensive, but if you actually break it down to the price per dosage, they might end up being more similar than you first thought. So, yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. That was some really good information. I guess I wouldn't have necessarily thought about it that way, but looking at ingredients is very important, especially in today's age. They're just going to throw stuff together and call it gold, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of products out there.
There's a lot of stuff like that out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just assume not deal with those, but I appreciate you guys being so forthcoming with that. That's and I like to hear about people that are really into quality. Quality is everything, and there's very limited amounts of it out there nowadays. And so it's really good to hear somebody really, head over heels for their product.
Every batch we make, all the way from the blend, we test it, make sure it's the same, and then after we package it, we make sure every single bottle is the same in terms of even things like make sure the labels are correct. Everything, as Leanne said, we're ISO 9001 certified facility.
Now, so can you guys explain a little bit of that, the ISO 9000?
Yeah, so basically it's a certification process. I believe it's an international certification. I'd have to double check on that.
It is.
Okay, perfect. So it's international. And basically what it means is that there are certain standards and certain processes that we have to hit and maintain consistently in order to keep that certification. So some of those are, like Doug was mentioning, like, we have certain tests that we do on every single run of our product, certain specifications that we have to maintain for all of the products. And if they don't hit it, then they don't go out. We have very specific standard operating procedures that we follow. And there's yearly audits that are done by the ISO 9001 certifying body that ensures that we are hitting those standards and maintaining that standard. So it's completely external audit that happens once a year. And then we just keep renewing our certification. And I believe we've held that certification for over 10 years now.
Yeah.
And so it's very consistent.
Nice. Well, good stuff, man. Hey, that was like, you spit that right out. That was good. Okay. There's no more questions, guys. What the heck? All right. Well, it looks like everybody's moving along. And so I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, guys. We did go through that really quick. I should have used my Oklahoma vibe and slowed everything down a little bit. But I've been on when I was really excited to talk to you guys. And so it just all came out really fast. And I appreciate you guys keeping up with me.
No worries.
All right.
One last thing I'll say before I sign off. I know I've been talking a lot. I tend to do that. But if you are interested in a sample, we do offer samples and we do ship to the States, and they're completely free of charge. We don't charge you shipping. We really believe in our product, and we believe that if you try it, you will believe in it as well. So if you're interested in a sample, reach out to us, Instagram, email, our website, give us a call, and we'll send some stuff out to you so you can give it a try for yourself.
Nice. I really appreciate that. And I'm sure everybody else does too. But I might be looking to get a little sample and check that out because I'm really interested. Really interested.
We'll get you set up.
Yeah,
beautiful.
No problem. We'll get you some samples.
Heck yeah. Okay, so guys, make sure you check out the raffles. There's still spots open. Okay, don't be afraid to get up in there. You guys might just be winning some really good stuff. Okay, and so once again, Doug and Leanne, thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your experiences and all your products with us. And hopefully we can do this again when you guys have some new products. Yeah.
Definitely.
For sure. Yeah. Anytime.
All right. Beautiful. Okay. So until next time, guys, happy growing. All right. Hey, if you guys hang out for a second, I'll be right with you. Okay.